We're back for our daily college basketball best bets here on the channel. Today is Friday, March 28th, and we continue the Sweet 16 with 4 games today, 2 at State Farm Arena over in Atlanta, Georgia, and 2 at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana. We've got Ole Miss taking on Michigan State, Kentucky taking on Tennessee, Michigan taking on Auburn, and Purdue taking on Houston. Those are our 4 games today, and we're going to go through every single one of them here today. Obviously, Elite 8 starts tomorrow on Saturday, and on Sunday we will do videos for those games as well. And then on Monday, I believe the college basketball crown starts. So yeah, we've got college basketball best bets for a while here on the channel. And then Tuesday, we get 6 games. So we can actually select some games. We'll have 5 best bets again on Tuesday. Regardless, folks, before we get into the best bets, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily college basketball best bets here on the channel. Earlier today, we posted our MLB best bets. That's going on daily on the channel for at least the next 5 months. So lock in for that, folks. I think I like the MLB best bets. Don't get me wrong, I love doing college basketball too, but we're doing player props with MLB, we're doing NRFIs, we're doing money lines. I get to talk about my favorite team every single day with the Washington Nationals. Make sure to go check that out. That's going to be dropping at 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern every single day here on the channel. That's linked in the description down below. And you know the drill, NBA predictions coming on later today. I don't want to talk about the Bulls and the Lakers. I don't know what to say. Anyways, our UFC Mexico predictions are also linked in the description down below. That's on Greedo Plays MMA. Make sure to go check that out on Greedo Plays MMA. Subscribe to that channel. Subscribe to this channel as well as we get on to the first of our 4 games today. Starting things off in Atlanta, Georgia, Michigan State versus Ole Miss. The Spartans are 3.5-point favorites. I'll be honest, I think they should be more than 3.5-point favorites. I think they should. I get it. Michigan State does play really competitive basketball games, especially in the first half. We've seen that in both their games so far in the NCAA tournament, right? The Bryant game, extremely close in the first half. Second half, though, Michigan State ultimately pulls away and wins the game by 25 points. The New Mexico game, I'm not going to talk about the poor officiating in that game. I thought it was absolutely horrible. Nelly Drew Joseph's 3rd, 4th, and 5th fouls. 5th foul wasn't that bad, but the 3rd and 4th fouls were ridiculous. He should have never been sent out that game. It changed and it altered the course of the game. I'm picking Michigan State, but I'm just saying, guys, New Mexico should probably be here right now. Anyways, just wait for Donovan Dent, Patino, and the Xavier Musketeers next season. I'm sorry, New Mexico. We're jumping off the Lobos bandwagon in football. We're going to Utah with Devin Dampier. Basketball, we're heading on over to Xavier. It's weird. I'm not a New Mexico sports fan. It's just this year I picked them a lot. Now we're moving to Utah and Xavier with them. Regardless, I'm taking Michigan State, though, to beat Ole Miss and cover. I get it. They played New Mexico and Bryant very competitively in the first half. Second half, more competitive, obviously, in the New Mexico game. But Michigan State ultimately pulled away. I think they should ultimately pull away in this game, too, against Ole Miss. The Rebels never impressed me in the regular season. And I've said that here before. We took Ole Miss quite a little bit in the regular season. We started to fade them and just not play them at all because they disappointed us too many times. Sean Padula has put together a really good tournament. I'm not going to deny that. Padula with 20-point outings in back-to-back games against UNC and against Iowa State. I thought Iowa State was going to be able to overcome their injuries. I thought the Cyclones were going to get healthier as the tournament went on. Obviously, that didn't go their way, and Ole Miss ended up beating them by 13 points last Sunday. And good for them, right? Sean Padula has balled out in this tournament. He had 20 and 8 in that Iowa State game. I just think Michigan State's too much. I think they're just a better basketball team than Ole Miss. All around, Michigan State has the better talent, I think. Jaden Akins, Jace Richardson, Cohen Carr, Jackson Kohler. I get it. Some of these guys have had bad tournament games so far. They've had a week off now. Tom Izzo, you do have to think about it. Tom Izzo is an elite coach in college basketball. It's undeniable. And I do think Michigan State should be able to cover the 3.5 points in this basketball game. I expect this game to be extremely close in the first half. And Ole Miss has been scoring fairly well at a high rate so far in this tournament. 91 points in the Iowa State game. North Carolina game a little bit, more low scoring, 71 for them in that game. This all starts, though, with Sean Padula. It really does. If Padula's on, I will get a little concerned, but I mean, Donovan Dent didn't have his best game against Michigan State. Donovan Dent actually played a pretty poor game against MSU. I mean, he went 7 for 18 from the field, scored 14 points. I get it. Sean Padula plays a different basketball game than Donovan Dent does, even though I think Donovan Dent's the all-around better basketball player. Trust me. Next year, Donovan Dent and Xavier, we're going to be all over that. We're going to be all over that next year. But it all starts with shutting down Sean Padula. Because if Michigan State can shut down Padula, I don't feel confident in the pieces around him. Yes, Malik Diaz can score. Yes, Brakefield, Matthew Morrell, Jalen Murray, Drake Davis, they have guys around him 100%. I just don't think, Ole Miss as a whole can get going and stay competitive with Michigan State without Sean Padula. So I think as this game carries on, I think it's going to be a close first half. Hell, Ole Miss might have the lead in the first half. The second half, though, is where Michigan State gets better. We've seen that in back-to-back games already in this tournament, and they are the all-around better basketball team. Give me Akins, Cohen Carr. We'll see how Jace Richardson plays tonight because he hasn't had a very good tournament so far, right? The New Mexico game is pretty bad for him. I think Michigan State gets it going, and I think they move on to the Elite Eight on Sunday, where they will take on the winner of Michigan versus Auburn. We could get an all-Michigan matchup in the Elite Eight. We'll have to wait for that. For now, give me Michigan State -3.5 here in Georgia over the Ole Miss Rebels. We go on to our second best bet of the video, and here's an all-SEC matchup, 2 versus 3 at Lucas Oil, as we have the Tennessee Volunteers taking on the Kentucky Wildcats. This is the least confident one I have today. I'll be honest with you. It's probably the least confident one. Yeah. No, it's not. No, it is. Give me Tennessee -4.5. Okay, I think Tennessee wins. 4.5 does get kind of tough for me. I'm not going to lie. Tennessee has not been impressive in this tournament. They haven't. The Wofford victory, yeah, they win. I thought Wofford was legitimately one of the worst teams this entire tournament. I don't know how the hell they won their conference tournament. I mean, I know, but it's just... they weren't good all year long. I don't know how they won the SoCon. UCLA game... the Bruins just laid an egg in the last 5 minutes of that game. It was a joke. Not last 5 minutes, but just there was a 5-minute stretch in that game. Final 5 minutes of the first half, they laid an egg, and then they just couldn't catch up the rest of the basketball game. It was very competitive early, but then Tennessee goes on like a 7-0 run to end the half. They go up 32-25, and UCLA just couldn't catch up in the second half. So that sucked. Tennessee's been playing some somewhat competitive games. Yeah, they've been in control of both the games they've played so far. They probably have the 2 best players in the court with Chaz Lanier and Zakai Ziegler. I'm not going to deny that. I think they will beat Kentucky. 4.5 is a little tricky. Now, the 2 matchups these 2 teams played this season, Kentucky beat them both times, right? First matchup, 78-73 at Rocky Top. The Wildcats get it. And the second game in Lexington, Kentucky beats them 75-64 as well. That's great. Kentucky's won their 2 tournament games, right? Beating Troy in an obvious win, and then beating Illinois, which surprised me, I'll be honest. I didn't think they were going to beat the Fighting Illini. And this all starts with Otega Owe, and it starts with Kobe Brea as well. These 2 guys have been playing phenomenal tournaments so far, and I only expect that to continue here. My thing is, I don't think Kentucky's able to beat Tennessee 3 times this season. Because all season long, when you look at their overall body of work, Tennessee's been the better team all year long. I think it's undeniable. I mean, hell, Tennessee was ranked first in the country at one point. They were undefeated until they ran in, obviously, that game in Florida. Kentucky's got double-digit losses. Tennessee's record's 29-7. That doesn't mean anything now. I completely understand that. But all year long, Tennessee has been the better basketball team. You can say what you want about Kobe Brea and Otega Owe. They are great players. They are great scorers. I believe Chaz Lanier is by far the best player on the court. Watching him in this tournament, watching him all year long, I think he's the best player playing this game. Zakai Ziegler is very solid too. Obviously, Lanier is the guy. Ziegler in back-to-back tournament games put up 12 against Wofford and put up 15 against the UCLA Bruins. That's solid as a number 2, obviously, but the guy is Chaz Lanier, and ultimately that's why we are taking Tennessee to win this basketball game, and yes, to cover the 4.5 points as well. It is rare we do see, well, it's not too rare, but it is interesting we do see a third matchup between these 2 teams. And it's not in the SEC tournament, it's in the NCAA tournament, and it's in the Elite Eight. I think Tennessee does get it. Chaz Lanier is the best player in the court, and I feel like they're going to be able to find a way to shut down Kentucky offensively, and I think Tennessee's able to make this their game. Recently, right, Tennessee's been winning these low-scoring affairs, but how do they win those games? It's in those moments where Chaz Lanier takes over, Tennessee goes on those small runs like we saw at the end of the first half against UCLA, right? Very competitive game until the final, very competitive half against UCLA until the final minute and a half. They go on a 7-0 run, and all of a sudden, okay, UCLA's down by 7 going in to the last 20 minutes, and UCLA's never able to make a run to get back in that game. Tennessee's decent enough defensively. They don't let you go on huge runs, and all they need is one to really pull away, and boom, there you have it. Tennessee beats UCLA, and that's really all they need to beat Kentucky as well. I think they right their wrongs over the first 2 matchups. I think Tennessee's playing better basketball since those 2 Kentucky games, right? I mean, since the second Kentucky loss, their only losses are on the road at Ole Miss, which, whatever, and then the Florida loss in the SEC tournament championship, right? This team looked really good in the SEC tourney. They beat Auburn, who's obviously a 1 seed in our next game. They've looked good in the tournament so far, somewhat, but they've been playing great defense, and I think Tennessee, guys, UCLA is a good basketball team. The Volunteers shut them down to 58 points. I get it, Kentucky's explosive. They've scored more points than Tennessee has in both their games so far in the tournament. They've been the better offensive team all year long, but the defense is where this game is going to be won for the Volunteers. I think they're going to get it. Give me Tennessee to win this game here against the Kentucky Wildcats at Lucas Oil, and they will cover the points as well. -4.5 for Tennessee to finally figure it out here against Kentucky. We go on to our third game of the day, and we move back to Atlanta, Georgia, as the Michigan Wolverines take on the Auburn Tigers. Take Michigan on the points. We're getting 9.5 of them for the Wolverines. We're going to take those 9.5 points from Michigan. I think Auburn wins the basketball game. I think they do. But I think Michigan can cover this. I don't know. For the longest time, guys, I thought Auburn was just going to completely turn it around and look dominant towards the tail end of the regular season and onto the SEC tournament and in the NCAA tournament as well. Don't get me wrong, they're in the spot. They're one of the final 16 teams, hell now 12, but they're in the Sweet 16. They've won back-to-back tournament games against Alabama State and then against Creighton, which is a good victory over the Blue Jays. They've won some big games this year, and now here they are. They've got 30 wins they're taking on Michigan. Still, though, that end to SEC play, I just don't like. A&M loss, Bama loss, barely get by Ole Miss, and then you lose to Tennessee. I'm not saying they lose to Michigan. I'd be very surprised if the Wolverines outright win this game. I just think Michigan's going to be able to keep this game close, a team that has 100% surprised me in this NCAA tournament. Guys, I think a lot of people thought this, and I thought it too. I thought UC San Diego was going to be able to get them. I thought when Tyler McGee hit that 3 with 2 minutes left, I thought, all right, with a minute and a half left, and UCSD finally took their first lead in 35 minutes. I was like, all right, Michigan collapse, boom, UC San Diego's moving on. Didn't go that way. I'll say it, I had UC San Diego playing Auburn in the spot in my original bracket. This is what I had. Didn't go that way, obviously. But Michigan has surprised me, and I always had worried about their ability to score. I'm worried no more. They scored 91 points against A&M. It's a good team. That Michigan went out there. They were able to find ways to score. Vlad Golding's been playing a great tournament, 23 points in the A&M victory. They sent him to the line 11 times, hit 9 of those. They got 26 points out of Roddy Gale in that game. We know Trey Donaldson didn't have a good game in the A&M game, but Donaldson can explode and can put up good scoring nights as well. You know about Danny Wolf, their other center. They're a big team, and they're hard to score against. We know that. I just think Auburn barely gets by. I think this is one of the games that goes right down to the wire. Yesterday we didn't have our best day, right? We hit on, we went 3-1. We just didn't hit on the Maryland game, which, this is how this works. That was the game I felt the best about, right? But it is what it is. I feel like this is kind of like a Duke-Arizona game. Arizona, they were never really out of it. Now, it's not going to go that same exact way. There's not going to be a 100-point score by Auburn tonight, because if there is, Michigan's not going to stand a chance of covering the 9.5 points. But at the same time, I just think Michigan's going to be able to hang around. But it's a different kind of hang around than what Arizona did against Duke. Arizona was down big. They kind of came back in the game late, tried to close the distance. If Michigan falls behind by 17 points, they're not going to win this game, or they're not going to cover this game. I think they're able just to sort of keep it within that 10-ish range the entire game. I don't want to call a backdoor cover, but I think Michigan should be okay here. They're a solid defensive team. Yeah, Auburn's looked decent in their first 2 games. They've scored 82 in both of those, which means we just need Michigan to score 73, which is very achievable the way this team's playing right now. Guys, they were the Big Ten tournament champions. They just got overlooked in everybody's bracket in the entire March Madness outlook because they ran into the best mid-major team in the country in UC San Diego. Maybe VCU. UCSD deserves it. Hey, 2 Big West should have happened. I'm just saying, shout to UCI. The Anteaters are winning the NIT. Join us for our NIT predictions continuing on April 1st. Our best bets for the NIT. Just watch out. Anyways, I think Michigan's able to stay in this basketball game. Yes, Auburn is winning, and they should probably win this game too. They have the better team. John I. Broom, Todd Pettiford, Chad Baker, Mazzara. They are all, veterans of college basketball, if you want to put it that way. They know how to win, and they should be able to get out of a close matchup. I just think Michigan's able to stay in it. Give me the Wolverines plus 9.5 in this game here in Atlanta. But ultimately, yes, I'm going to take the Auburn Tigers to move on to the Elite Eight, where they will obviously take on the Michigan State Spartans in the 1-2 matchup in that region. We go to our final game of the night at Lucas Oil Stadium back in Indianapolis. The Purdue Boilermakers take on the Houston Cougars. I get it. This is a home court advantage game for Purdue. 100% it is, right? They're in West Lafayette. That is 45 minutes to an hour away from Indianapolis. It is. I don't think they really get a home court advantage here. Guys, this game is being played in a football stadium. This is the Colts Stadium, which I don't understand. I've seen the layout. I've seen the pictures. It doesn't look that bad. I'm not going to lie. But it's Gainbridge Fieldhouse is right there. Why couldn't you have just done it there? It's a basketball game. It's probably better in a basketball environment. And the Pacers, they don't even play at home today or Sunday. Yeah, the Pacers don't play today. They play tomorrow. They're in OKC Saturday night. And they don't return home until Monday. So you could have just done it at the Pacers arena. I don't understand. I don't get it. I get it. You want to be at a football stadium, but it's not a college basketball environment, especially because it's not like the Final Four where they have the entire stadium. No, they're cutting it in half. It's just, what? It's like what the NBA did last year for the slam dunk contest. They cut Lucas Oil in half. They blocked off one half of the stadium, so they just made it, you could only see one half of the field. I don't know. I feel like that's not really a hometown environment. Obviously, right, Purdue's just right there. But I don't think they're really going to have that crowd factor. At the same time, because too, I just don't know how many Purdue fans will be there. I don't know. Yeah, it's spring. Oh, no, they got back from spring break now. But still, I don't know. I don't think they're really going to have that big of an advantage home court-wise, especially because it's at Lucas Oil and it's not an arena. It's only half a stadium. Also, Houston's much better than Purdue. They are. Good for Purdue, right? They won back-to-back games in this tournament. I thought they were going to win both those games, right? We had them in both those games against High Point. I told you they're going to blow out McNeese. They're better than those mid-major schools, right? But the thing is, High Point and McNeese, good mid-major teams, but they weren't even the cream of the crop in the out of mid-majors this year, right? I liked a lot of mid-majors more than I did McNeese and High Point, right? We picked against McNeese a couple times this season. We thought they were good, but they weren't the best, right, out the South. Oh, they were the best of the Southland, but they weren't the best, as mid-major in its entirety, right? And we thought UCSD was better. UCI, who's probably going to win the NIT, Drake. There were better mid-major squads. So good for Purdue. But the thing is, they're supposed to beat those teams. They're still not that great, though. Right, Trey Kaufman-Wren's able to dominate against High Point. He's able to dominate against McNeese. Guys, he's not going to dominate against Houston. He's able to use his size against those squads because they don't see anyone like Trey Kaufman-Wren all year long. And I get it, Juwan Roberts isn't the biggest guy, but Juwan Roberts will play physical defense, and Juwan Roberts won't allow Trey Kaufman-Wren to walk all over him like High Point and like McNeese will. It's just not going to happen. LJ Cryer, probably the best player on the court. I'd be surprised if he's not. Maybe Braden Smith chucks up some threes, and I always have that Braden Smith game against UCLA in my mind when I ever think about Purdue basketball, because that game haunts me because we had UCLA, had quite a bit of money on UCLA that night. But anyways, right? I think Houston's fine. I really think they are here in this spot. They're the better all-around basketball team. I don't think Trey Kaufman-Wren's able to dominate. So, sure, then you force Braden Smith to beat you. And if Braden Smith plays a game like he did against UCLA, so be it. But at the same time, Houston's a better defensive team than UCLA is. And then, okay, you take the ball to Braden Smith's hands, then, okay, what, is Fletcher Lawyer going to beat you? I just don't think so. I think Houston's okay in this spot. LJ Cryer had a really good game against Gonzaga in a game where they needed him to be huge. LJ Cryer had 30 points. They ended up beating the Zags 81-76. Very good win, right? I know Graham Ike, had 27 points against them, but I wouldn't compare Ike and Trey Kaufman-Wren. Yes, they're both really good bigs. The difference is Ike is so ball dominant, and Trey Kaufman-Wren is too, but Trey Kaufman-Wren will work in and out of the post a lot. Obviously, he wants the ball down low, but I don't know. I feel like Zaga's more dependent on Ike than Purdue is on Kaufman-Wren. Because, Zaga's got guys like Nembhard, but Nembhard doesn't want the ball in his hands scoring-wise. They got Battle, but, Purdue's much more, they have other options. Gonzaga is all Graham Ike. So don't expect, just because Ike scored all those points that Trey Kaufman-Wren will do the same. I don't think so. I think that's just kind of how Zaga plays, and Purdue will probably swing the ball more, which I think ultimately helps Houston. I like LJ Cryer a lot. He had a really good game against Zaga. I expect another big night out of Juwan Roberts. You know, he had 18 points in that game. I'd expect him again to have a big night down low, potentially against Trey Kaufman-Renn or Joseph Tugler. Either one of those guys, they should be all right. It'll probably be, well, when Tugler's not on the court, it will be Roberts. But I'm okay with this. I really think Houston's going to be able to find a way to shut down Purdue, and I think they just get away from this team. Yeah, 9.5 is a lot. I think they should be able to do it. I don't know. I butchered the graphic. This is supposed to be minus 9.5. My apologies. It's supposed to be minus 9.5 Houston. I think they're able to get away from the Boilermakers. I just don't think Purdue's on their level. Again, I butchered the graphic. That is completely my fault. But yeah, I'm taking the Houston Cougars to just run away from Purdue in this one. They're the all-around better basketball team. Once Trey Kaufman-Renn gets shut down, and once Braden Smith doesn't see his shots falling, I think the Houston Cougars should be able to find it. So again, my apologies on the graphic. I thought I had minus 9.5. Should say minus 9.5. Give me the Houston Cougars to win and put away Purdue at Lucas Oil in Indiana. I like the Houston Cougars to move on to the Elite Eight to take on the winner of Tennessee, Kentucky, which we think is going to be the Volunteers. So folks, thank y'all for watching our 4 best bets for college basketball here on March 28th. If you haven't yet though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. Folks, thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.